Hi, I'm Adri. This is Imperfectionates, and I think we all know by now that I knit a lot of Summer Lee patterns. So, obviously, I have to talk about her new book, The Sock Obsession, and then also, maybe just a little bit, talk about her first book, The Sock Project. If I was good at this, I would have a nice little camera set up where I could show you all the pages nicely, but instead I'm just gonna hold them up like we're doing library story time, okay? Something that's really awesome about this book, as opposed to even this book and especially other pattern books, is that the page with the pictures have a little essay across from it instead of the patterns, so I can kind of just show you without spoiling the pattern or accidentally giving it away. So thanks whoever laid out this book for that. As you can see from my little tabs, I went through both of these and marked for this book which socks I want to knit. It was a little bit of a silly effort because there's 25 patterns in this book and I marked 20. This one I marked what patterns I want to knit, but also the pink tabs in this are helpful tips, reminders, instructions that I just want to be able to go back and reference quickly. So it's how to do a heel turn in case I forget the numbers or something. I thought it would be fun. Should we do the new one first, or should we go chronologically? I think I'm gonna let's go chronologically. So for this one, like I said, I marked out some helpful tips and then I marked the patterns I want to knit. In this book, I think if I counted correctly, I marked that I want to knit 10 of these. I also have already knitted 2, so those are not included in the 10, so I guess in total it was 12. This one also has 25 patterns, but the difference is that a lot of them are very basic. So technically you could say that I've knitted maybe 5 of them because I've knitted a lot of the basic ones. But even 10, though it's not, the 25 that are in the book, is maybe too many to show you right now. So instead I want to show you, I marked in a different color. It looks like 3 patterns that I really, really want to knit. The first of them, and look at how I have to bend the book, don't have to do that with the other one, is the Surf Wax socks. I've been really drawn to textured socks lately. I think all of the ones that I extra marked in this book are the textured ones. These ones are just a very basic slip stitch texture that I think looks so fun and clean. Next are the Trompe Le Monde socks. Again, just a super basic slip stitch pattern, this one with stripes so that it has a kind of color work effect. And again, I just think it looks so good. And then finally are the Soma socks. I've actually been debating. I think my next socks that I'm going to make are either going to be the Soma socks, the Cider House socks, or the Hibernal socks. And I actually have this exact color. Let me peek around. I have this exact color of yarn. This is the Knit Pick Stroll Tweed. And whichever of those that I do next is going to be in this yarn. But probably not the Cider House because I'm getting a little cabled out, which we'll see when we talk about the Sock Obsession. So that's a sock project. I highly recommend this if you are a beginner sock knitter. I think one of the reasons I have so many patterns in this that I'm not that attached to doing is because I'm not a beginner sock knitter, which is interesting because I did only start knitting socks less than 6 months ago, which is maybe at some point I'll make a video talking about all the great reasons that you should knit socks. And one of them is that you can go from beginner to intermediate to, I feel like I'm starting to wander into the territory of advanced sock knitting. And I've been doing it for 6 months. You learn so fast. Okay, now time for the actual new book, The Sock Obsession. I literally got this and then my sister texted me and was like, hey, do you want to talk on the phone today? I was like, no, I can't. I'm reading The Sock Obsession. You saw on your Amazon that it arrived. Why would you even ask that? Okay, so for this one, like I said, of the 25 patterns, I marked that I want to knit 20 of these. So I thought it would be maybe fun to start with which 5 I'm not interested in knitting right now. And why, kind of. First pair of socks that I don't want to knit, even though I think they look so gorgeous and I do love them, are these Aran sweater socks. They look so beautiful and gorgeous, but I've just been knitting so many cable socks and cables hurt my hands. So I saw these and I just went, you can't make me do more cables, even if they're really gorgeous and cute and you did a wonderful little color scheme with the little striped cuff. You can't make me. Summer Lee has a way of making me want to knit cables, even though I don't like cables. I love how cables look, but they're so unpleasant to knit. Next are the color block socks. I really like how these look, but for some reason I just wasn't feeling inspired by the idea of knitting them. I think I like my color work motifs a little more striking, and this is a little more basic. Next are the Impressionist socks. These have 2 strikes because they're DK weight, and I don't really like knitting DK weight socks, and they're cables. And I literally just finished yesterday knitting a pair of DK weight cable socks, so I just don't need any more right now. Next are the ribbed trouser socks. I might want to knit these at some point. I just don't feel like, again, I'm like not a beginner sock knitter, and I feel like a simple ribbed sock is just not really something that I feel the need to follow a pattern for. If I wanted a ribbed sock, I would just knit a ribbing that inspired me in that moment. But I do think that these look very like sophisticated for a ribbed sock. Like I like these a lot. I just don't really need a pattern for them. And then finally, can we sense a theme? 3 out of 5. They're the broken bow socks. They're cables. I don't want to knit cables. Stop making me want to knit cables, Summerlee. Okay, and then I marked in this book 3 that I especially want to knit. Like, chomping at the bit to knit these. These Escher socks are actually the only pattern in the book that is not original to this book. These were part of a like class thing that Summerlee did. And I saw them on her Ravelry and was like, I want to knit these so bad. Why doesn't the pattern exist outside of this class? And now it does. So I'm so excited about these. I don't have any good yarn. Like I'm gonna wait until I find a good gradient yarn, or until I'm in a yarn buying mood and I go seek out a nice gradient ombre yarn. So if anyone has any recommendations. And then most of my favorites from this book came from the final chapter, which is Summerlee's like what's it called? It's basically the most like iconically Summerlee type patterns. Summer's signature socks. And I guess I'm just a true Summerlee fan because I liked, like, these were all so good. And so the last 2 of my absolute favorites came from this. The subtle block socks. I don't know if this is just part of me wanting to be knitting more simple textures right now, or if I have been like seduced by this gorgeous color combo that makes me think that these just need to exist right now. The like periwinkle lavender color mixed with the green, it's so good. Summerlee's color sense is so good. And the like basket weave texture just looks so nice and like simple and beautiful, and like it would be so nice to knit. And then finally, these are the Nordic Bright socks. They remind me a lot of her Likey socks. I should look up how that is pronounced. I think I at one point knew. Coming to you from editing to say that the pronunciation is actually in the pattern and I was not even close. It's Luca. Where it's just a bunch of different colorwork motifs, like very straightforward, simple, basic colorwork motifs with a bunch of different colors, and it ends up just looking so fun and striking and wonderful. So that's the book. I also read through this whole thing yesterday, and if you are a fan of Summerlee, which if you're not a fan of Summerlee, what are you doing? But if you're a fan of Summerlee, if you watch any of her vlogs, I will sometimes watch her videos multiple times just because I find her so delightful to listen to. And reading this book just felt like I got a bunch of Summerlee vlogs all in one. So really, really good. And like I said previously for the sock project, it's a really, really good introduction to sock knitting. If you have never knit socks before, read this book and you'll be a sock knitting expert. Okay, so that was probably a quicker one, but that's all I really had to say. So, bye. Like, comment, subscribe, read Summerlee's books. You guys don't understand how much editing I have to do to decrease the volume of my breath when I'm not wearing these nose strips. Like, do I feel cute? No. I'm hopefully getting surgery pretty soon to fix my nose a little longer term. But for now, this has to do.